Okay, so let's take a comfortable seat and we will try to overcome the 6 major dilemmas by practicing together. So you can rest your hands in your lap, please. Let your eyes close. For those of you who know this, my little boy kitty snores when he's sleeping, and he's doing that right now. So you might hear the sounds of a kitten snoring, a happy snore. You can arrive for your seat and for your practice. For the amount of physical space that your body actually occupies as this little like meditation print that you're making on your mat. Let your mind come into this seat, like into this geographical present moment, time, space, GPS. We know that the mind can travel much farther. It can go to Mysore and back while talking to you, for example. But for right now, to get the mind to come into the body, bring your attention to the print that your body makes on the ground at this moment. I'd like you to further imagine that where you're sitting right now, there's a kind of root system that you're developing. In this case, the roots of your practice, that which makes your practice stable and sustainable. In the same way that trees have roots. Let your body and your mind know the roots of your practice, the soil in which you're planted. We want that to be nutritive. While you imagine that root system that you're deepening right now by being here today, now also lengthen up through your spine. And let your breathing start to move up and down the length of your spine. When you're breathing up and down the length of the spine, start to imagine that, in fact, if you do have a root system and a trunk and this inner life, you also have branches that reach out into the environment around you. Most of us spend more time in daily life, in the modern stresses of daily life. We spend more time being aware of all the places that our branches are reaching to. We spend less time remembering the roots or nourishing those roots. So be aware these branches exist, but let your primary focus be on the roots and the stabilization of the trunk. So during your practice, I'm going to ask you to imagine that you're nourishing the roots and the trunk of the body. And each time that the outer world or the outer life may tempt you to move away from the roots, guide your attention back and back and back to this nourishment. Please bring your hands together at your heart. And we'll chant Sahana Bhavatu together. Let's begin. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanao Bhunakto, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanao Bhunakto, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanao Bhunakto, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai. Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Open your eyes. So one of the things my teacher said this morning, he was saying, perhaps it will seem to people that the mango tree is kind of selfish because it's taking all of this water to nourish itself. It's gathering the resources. And the water nourishes the roots and the trunk of the tree. And he was going on to say, well, and then the mango tree produces these beautiful mangoes. They're very decorative, and it soaks in the sun to color the mangoes. So the mango tree is taking all of this resource to nourish itself. And looked at only in that way, it would seem that the mango tree is selfish. But on the other hand, he was pointing out the mango tree gives life and nourishment to mosquitoes and other creatures, and it never eats its own mangoes. The mango tree produces the fruit that nourishes others, nourishes animals and humans. It doesn't take its own beautiful fruit and hold it back, nor does it eat its own mango. And he was making this equation that sometimes people, particularly I think in Western society, but also more commonly in Indian society, taking time out for your practice or being dedicated to your practice, or like releasing the dazzle and the appeal of the merchant culture and being more in your practice can appear to people to be selfish, or perhaps might appear to your friends or family members who don't have the same dedication that you have. And yet what you're drawing in as resource to nourish your practice becomes the fruits of your practice, which you are ultimately not attached to. You don't own those fruits. Just like the mango tree doesn't try to hold on to the mangoes. The fruits of our practice become things like, in our relationships, how we provide sanctuary or refuge to others, or where we tap into the compassion that's larger than us, but available to all, and our friend may not know that, so we offer that shelter for someone. Or the fruits of our practice might be a kind of generosity or wisdom in response to difficulties and dilemmas. And there again, we don't have a feeling like we own that generosity or wisdom. It's flowing through us, like the resources come to the mango tree, the mango fruit is offered to others. So in a culture that we live in, those of us who are practicing here today, near as I can see, we're in Western culture, we're trained to study, dedicate, practice, develop ourselves, and we're going to have some sort of outcome, like a product, something that comes out from that we kind of, in this culture, we would claim it. It might be on our resume, for example, but this kind of study is very different. So even as we're studying and as we're practicing, it may appear that we're being self-occupied, but actually your practice is for the greater good. It's already on behalf of the larger. Because you won't be able to hold back, the fruits of your practice will come through you. Is it understood okay? You're following? Mm-hmm. So while you're here on your mat, a couple of recommendations I can make, since I also am a Westerner and I live with a Western mind. While you're here practicing, when you have an insight, for example, don't think, oh, so-and-so could really benefit from this insight. My neighbor 3 doors down could really benefit. Or try not to imagine when you're on your mat, like, oh, the goodness that I'm becoming and how this person will then see me and then they'll understand me better. But to really keep the practice right here on nourishing yourself. And then we see what comes when we're off the mat, having our yoga in life. But I know the temptation of being here and feeling the goodness emerging, these little bubbles that come up. And you can feel how you're going to apply that to your life, like right from here. But for now, I'm going to ask you to restrain that part of how something that gets sparked during your practice, how you're going to apply it. Let's imagine that the mangoes aren't ripe yet. It takes time. And sorry to say to Christine and Maureen and others who've been to India with me, we have never been there in mango season. All you can see are the mangoes that are not, they're still green. They're not ready to be eaten. So we haven't been there when you can just pick the mango off the tree and eat it. It's not the time of year that we're there. Joyfully, when I was in Thailand, it was papaya season. You could reach up from the little cafe outdoors. You could reach up and say, can I have this papaya? And they would go and they would cut it up and then they would bring it back to your table. That wasn't our experience in India with the mangoes. So while you're practicing, I want you to focus on your roots and your inner practice and not think too much how I'm going to take these blessings that might emerge during your practice and then go apply them. Let's let it ripen inside. So we are going to start with pranayama. And if you need to shake your legs out, now's a good time to do that. I'm going to go back to my yoga mat where I can sit with you. And I will take my microphone with me. Yeah. So in this pranayama practice that we'll be having, I want you to sit comfortably, if possible, cross-legged. I know that not everybody can sit cross-legged. So if that is your experience, then you can sit kneeling or in Vajrasana if you prefer. I will be instructing from a cross-legged position, so please adapt as you need to. Let's start by walking forward, please. It's a variation of pranam. So walk out. You can bow your head so it's not hanging lower than your upper arms. Press into your fingertips and root your hips back towards the blanket on which you are sitting. And imagine the root system that you are tapped into. It's not only your own practice, but the root system of the tradition of yoga. And the root system that we co-create when we come to class together. And breathe down into that root system as however you imagine it to be. It can be from your hips and your legs, but also your fingerprints in the floor. And then walk your hands back towards your seat. Rise up. Interlace your fingers at the small of your back, like this. Roll the shoulders open. Squeeze your arms back and bring your chin down. Press back with both shoulders. If you're someone who does not easily clasp your hands behind your back, please use a yoga strap. As you press the shoulders back, lift your chest and heart inside. Bow your head, but lift the base of your skull. And then exhale and bow forward to the best of your ability. You're going to come forward without falling on your head, please. Raise the arms up. And then rise up to your seat. And if possible, unclasp your hands. Place your fingertips behind you on the floor. Raise your chest and your heart. Open your throat. And then exhale and come up to a simple seat. We're going to go to Bhastrika, and then we'll do some familiar arm movements with the pranayama and then Kappalabhati. So Bhastrika is a strong exhale supported by the solar plexus. Let's begin. Exhale. Inhale through both nostrils. Inhale, lower, middle, upper torso completely, and then suspend the inhale at the top. Exhale through both nostrils. Make it a long, smooth, complete exhale. Again, same thing. Exhale completely. Inhale through the nose. Come up to inhale suspension. Exhale completely. Deeply relax. Interlace your fingers. For those of you who have been coming to class, this will be familiar. For those of you who have not, follow along to the best of your ability. I'll give instructions, but I'm going to give simplified instructions. So beginning here, Ujjayi inhale, raise your breath, lower, middle, and upper, as you raise your arms and your eyes together. Exhale, squeeze your elbows behind your head and place the base of the skull along the side of the pinkies. Inhale, elbows forward, and as your breath rises up to your heart, lift your elbows and look up. And exhale, squeeze the elbows back, bring your gaze down. Inhale, level your head, bring your left elbow forward, right elbow up, twist right. Exhale to center, elbows wide, gaze down. Inhale, level your head, right elbow forward, left elbow up. Exhale to center, gazing down. Inhale, press up and look up. Exhale, arms wide, twist to your right. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, down, Anjali Mudra. One more time. Inhale, lower, middle, upper, gaze up. Exhale, elbows behind your head and the pinkies at the base of the skull. Inhale, elbows forward and up. Exhale, level your head, twist right. Inhale, side bend. Rise back up into your twist. Exhale to center. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, side bend. Rise back up to your twist. Center. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, rise up. And this time, exhale, Anjali Mudra. Bring your hands to your knees. And let yourself sit really still in the mind. No need to coordinate the breath right now. Now, Kappalabhati, so it'll be a rapid exhale out through the nose, and then we'll have inhale suspension, and we'll do that with Nadi Shodhana. So beginning with a little sip of an inhale. Exhale completely. Inhale, left nostril only. Suspend. Exhale, right nostril. Inhale right. Suspend. Exhale left. Deeply relax. And place your mind in the roots of your practice, the place where you become stabilized, nourished, connected not only to your own practice, but to the larger community and the tradition. And please rise up to standing. You come up to a horse stance where your feet are a little bit wider than hip distance, maybe as wide as your yoga mat. And you can slightly bend the knees. Make two fists. We're going to be swinging the arms. And when you swing the arms back, you're going to have your fists like this. When you swing the arms forward, it's opening the fingers. And it's a strong breath like this. You inhale back, exhale forward. At your own pace, so you can see that my arms and my breath are synchronized. Do the same for yourself at the pace that's yours. And when you're going through the process, we'll do about 20 more times. So each one is a brisk breath cycle in and out. Now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the arms swing until they're still. And now please inhale, raise both arms. Bend your knees. Exhale, come down like a rag doll. And again, bring your mind into the roots of your practice. You don't have to coordinate the breath. No need to be distracted by your hamstrings or your hips. Let the mind relax. Walk your hands up to your knees. And one more practice we're going to do. Heel toe out. Please come down to the jazz dance warm-up position like this. Okay. And in this jazz dance warm-up pose, you're going to press out through the inner thighs towards the knees consistently. And let the shoulders shrug towards the ears. Gaze down towards the floor. And I'd like us to practice the inhale smoothly from the lower to the middle to the upper. Most people have to focus on the breath, having enough remaining inhale to get the breath up into the upper chest. So pace your inhale about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. During both inhale and exhale, Keep the structure of the pose strong, like your legs and arms are stable. And this allows the trunk muscles not to have to think about keeping you balanced, but rather responding to the breath. Now press down into your heels, rise up to standing, and you can go toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel in until you're in mountain pose. We're going to be stepping into Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. When you come to mountain pose, try to stand like a tall mountain with a wide base, a sense of your foundation. And with your mind down at the foundation of your practice, the roots of your practice. This morning, our sun salutation is going to include twisting poses. I hope that you did not have waffles before class. I know it's a holiday for lots of people involving sweets and chocolate, but that might be a contraindication now for your yoga practice. Just do your best, please. And bring your palms together at your heart. Come into your Ujjayi breath now and make that consistent and smooth as we go moment to moment during the practice. With your in-breath, take the hands down, palms forward, raise up. Exhale, sit down to chair pose. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press your hands onto your blocks to make the deeper part of your exhale at the end as strong as you can this morning. Then inhale, slowly glide your spine forward. Reach your collarbones forward. Exhale, take your left toes straight back. Press into your left palm on the block. Inhale, twist, right. Exhale, level off into airplane pose. Stabilize your right outer hip. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane pose. Keep the left inner seam of the leg strong and inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, squeeze your right knee up between your elbows. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, squeeze your right knee forward. Keep the left big toe and the upper inner thigh strong. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Now simply inhale in dog pose. Exhale, left foot forward between your hands. Press into your right big toe. Inhale, rise to your crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane pose. Now place your right palm firmly down. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, airplane pose. Keep the left outer hip strong. Place your palms firmly. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale to plank. Exhale, squeeze your left knee forward, strengthen your right inner leg. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. One more time, inhale, plank. Gaze down between your thumbs. As you exhale, squeeze your left knee forward between your elbows. Inhale, plank pose. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Enjoy the in-breath here. And then exhale, bring your awkward foot forward, then your second foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Matseyandrasana. Anjali Mudra. Mountain pose. Connect back down to the roots. Again, inhale, upward hands pose, Ardha Matseyandrasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, Ardha Matseyandrasana. Uttanasana. Tone the inner edges of your legs as you're coming down. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, left toes back, left heel down. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. So the back heel's down this time. Do your best to angle your hips forward. Now exhale, airplane pose. Keep your right outer hip steady. Inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Reach into your left inner heel. Exhale, airplane. So we're going to do this about 3 times more. This is a heating practice. So when you rise up, root down for your tailbone for sure. Use your right heel, but emphasize the inner edge of your left leg because it gets forgotten, but also because it's part of how you stabilize yourself. So right outer hip, pelvic floor, left inner thigh, left heel. Think of that as a part of your root system. Do it one more time. Inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Now this time, exhale, come forward and in airplane pose, hover a moment. Then place your left palm firmly and inhale, twist to your right. Without the right hip sashaying off to the side. So in the twist, you need the left arm to be strong and vertical down, and your right hip snug to center. And then exhale and touch the blocks with both hands. Pivot your left heel up. Inhale, plank pose. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, plank. Joyfully exhale, squeeze your right knee up between your elbows, touch the left elbow. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. You inhale forward to plank with a half smile on your face. Exhale, right knee forward and to the left elbow. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Breathe in. Exhale, left foot forward. Pivot your right heel down. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. And exhale, airplane pose. Use the strength of your legs here. So when we inhale up to Warrior 1, don't think of how much upper back work there is. Really rely on the strength and the motivation of your legs. And let's be specific that it's your left outer hip, left sitting bone, pelvic floor, the upper inner right thigh, and back into your right inner heel. Now, certainly you're using the other muscles too. I'm speaking to the places that tend to get forgotten. So this isn't like all your quadriceps are burning. You're using a concert of muscles, a whole orchestra of instruments. And one more time down to airplane pose. Now keep the left outer hip strong and the right upper inner thigh back into the heel. And place your right hand. Inhale, twist left. The likelihood of the pose kind of splaying apart is strong, so you want to use the strength of your right arm and your left outer hip and the inner edge of your right thigh and the inner arch of your right foot. And then exhale, come down and place your palms firmly on the blocks. Pivot your right heel up. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, plank, joyfully. Exhale, left knee forward and up to the right elbow. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, left knee forward and to the right elbow. Inhale to plank. And exhale, back downward facing dog pose. Enjoy the in-breath here. And then exhale, regular foot forward, awkward foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise. And then to the heart, Ujjayi Mudra. And place your mind back down in the roots. The present moment has roots. Your physical body has roots. Your practice is also rooted in community and in the tradition. You reach back and interlace your fingers, please, at the small of your back. Roll the shoulders open. Okay. Press down through your tailbone and your heels. Raise up with your chest and heart. It's okay for the hips to come maybe just as far forward as the toes. And reach up through your heart into a little back bend. If your hands don't comfortably clasp behind you, now is a good time for a yoga strap. Let's inhale, raise up through the heart. Keep your hands interlaced and exhale, come over and down, Uttanasana. With the hands clasped, this is sometimes called Yogi Mudra. Okay, inhale, glide your heart forward. Set the strap aside if you're using one. Unlace the fingers, touch the blocks. Okay, please step your left foot straight back. This is the basic lunge that we've been doing. And I'd like you to cross your left elbow over your right knee. To do that, keep the upper inner left thigh and the left heel strong and hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Join your palms together. And then press down with your left elbow against your right knee. And press your right knee into your left elbow. So they share that responsibility. And you twist the belly and the inner belly, also the rib cage, your heart, your thoracic spine. So check the strength of your right outer hip, your right sitting bone, the communication then from your pelvic floor to the left inner thigh and back to the left inner heel and the left big toe. And now exhale and release your hands to your blocks. Press firmly into both blocks. Steady yourself at the upper inner left thigh and pick up your right knee and foot. Okay, pivot your left inner heel to the floor sideways. Bring your right knee up to your chest and raise the left arm. And then exhale and come back down to your knee to elbow plank pose. And then plank pose regular. And downward facing dog pose. Okay, let's try the other side. Step your left foot forward. Check that your feet left to right are hip distance apart. And hook your right elbow over your left knee. Join your palms together. Press the right elbow down against your left knee. And your left knee is going to press into your right elbow. And then check the strength of the connection from your left outer hip to your left sitting bone. The pelvic floor into your right upper inner thigh and back into the right heel and the big toe. Okay, now keeping that steady with an exhale, bring your palms firmly down to your blocks. Now keep the right leg particularly strong and pick up your left knee and maybe your heel and then your toes. Pivot your right inner heel to the floor. Keep the left knee up to your chest and raise your right arm. Notice the right upper inner thigh even as you transition back to your knee to elbow plank. And then regular plank and downward facing dog pose. And then exhale, awkward foot forward, second foot forward. And inhale, rise up, Ardha Hastasana. And then Anjali, back to the heart. And take your mind back into the roots. And release both hands. And let's take a seat like we did yesterday, where you have two blocks to start, like this, in Virasana. It's also called Zazen, sitting Zazen. Like a little bench is right here. Turn your palms face down in your lap. Consolidate your attention down into the root system. So that could be where you sense your little footprint here in this massive cosmos, your tiny footprint on this tiny yoga mat. But also the roots of your intention for being on the path of yoga. The root of your connection to community and to tradition. Now step your right foot forward. Okay, so we did this pose yesterday. It's a little bit unusual because you're first taught this pose. I mean, if you were taught the pose at all, you were taught likely sitting on the floor. So your hips were down along the inside of your left ankle. But not all hips and knees can do that comfortably. So we're up on the 2 blocks. I also want the torso to be able to come forward where your head will be lower than your heart. So walk the right foot out a tiny bit. Raise your right arm. And then when you come forward, try to keep both hips on the blocks. And you can take the hands out in front, almost like you're doing pranam. Try to keep your right heel grounded, your right hip rooted on the block. And the breath kind of smooth and nourishing in the lower belly. You can also experience the breath coming into the back and the sides of your waist. Now walk your hands, excuse me, back towards your shins and knees. Rise up to sitting and walk your right foot. So if this is, let's just say this is south facing for you, which actually it is for me. Walk your right knee to the southeast. Yeah, north is behind me, so this would be southeast. And then take the right arm along the inside of your right leg. And when you do this, press your right shoulder back. Press the right knee out and twist to your left. So the pressure that you're putting on your right shoulder, right arm, right thigh, right knee is to help open the inner groin, the right hip, and from the plumb line of the body, you're twisting like a barber pole twists, twisting to the left. Press into the right sitting bone on the block, please. So it's not just that it's resting there. I actually want you to press it down. And then raise your left arm and less like a bamboo, less like a barber pole and more like bamboo. Come over to your right. So keep your twist to the best of your ability. We'll just add the side bend. So you're like the bamboo that arcs in the storm. My bamboo is all, it's arced over. You can picture it that way. It will come back up. And then raise up slowly. Keep pressing your right knee and shoulder back. And then rotate around to center and bring your right foot down to this kind of high seat of your asana. I notice the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of your back. They're probably feeling different from each other. Now step the left foot forward and walk your left foot just a couple degrees out to the left. Raise your left arm, please. And then coming forward, try to keep your left sitting bone on the block. And try to keep your left heel grounded as well. So the left knee is open to the left, but I would like your foot to be a source of stability. As you reach your left hip back to the block, you might find that like there's a spot in the left lower back or the left side waist that is asking for your attention. Let's raise this one back up. Come up to your seat, walk your left foot out to the southwest. And take the left arm along the inside of your left leg. That initiates a twist to the right. Press into your left sitting bone. So at the moment, your spine, I would like to be upright, like the barber pole, neither leaning left nor leaning right. And raise your right arm up alongside your ear, and we'll side bend. Keep the twist going so your barber pole is having an element of bamboo to it. And then with your exhale, use your right low belly to bring yourself up into your twist. And come around to face forward. Now let's go down to one block on the medium setting. So we also call this Zazen. I did that in an awkward way, but you are doing your own, so you do it as you want. Don't follow me. So down to Zazen, rest your hands. Palms face down on your thighs if that's comfortable. And come back into the roots of your practice once again. Now keeping the left foot tucked back, step your right foot up, this time keeping it snug. Okay, raise your left arm up and twist to your right. And I'd like you to bring yourself, I talked about this yesterday, it's like you're coming into a forward bend and a side bend and a twist. Your fingers may not reach the floor right there. My other fingers do, but these ones may or may not reach for you. So in this twist, we're doing less of a back bend right now and a bit more of the forward bend part of the twist. So you're gazing down. Twist your upper back and your heart to the right. And then rise up. And now what I'd like us to do is a more open twist. Wrap your left hand around your right shin. Lift up through your heart like you're doing cobra or upward dog pose, for example. Open your right arm, reach back. And then bringing that back in to your heart. Let's do the other side. Okay, so raise your right arm up. So there is a twist, and then there's going to be this forward bend, which is going to add a side bend. It will be asymmetrical. It's possible that your fingers won't reach the floor. Hopefully your left fingers do. You also could use your block to make the floor more close. And when you're gazing down and in, keep your right elbow and your left knee firmly fixed. Press into your left arm. It's a big support for your twist. And turn your heart to your left. That's a very compressed twist. So now please come up and wrap your right hand around your left shin. Lift up through your spine and your heart like cobra, and then open your left arm. Bring that back around to your heart. And place the left foot back into Virasana. And if you want to, you can make the block one lower. So now you're sitting almost down between the two heels. And come back to the roots of your practice. This includes your commitment to practice, the community that you're practicing with right now, for example, but also the larger community that continues to practice a wide variety of forms of awakening, and the tradition in which you're rooted, you're planted. And now taking the block out from under, we're going to set up for Shavasana so we have time for meditation at the end of class. So I'd like you to take a long blanket like this. In fact, you'll need two of them. One of these is going to go down your yoga mat this way. So you spent some time kneeling right there. And what happens now is we take the legs straight out. So kneeling closes your hip and knee joints for a time. Now we get this sort of runoff. We get a lymph response. So I'd like you to put a loop in your strap. I took my loop out because I was demonstrating something. So let me get this fixed again. So you have your loop-de-loop. Sit in front of, but not on your blanket, please. Place one block between your feet and the strap around the feet and ankles. Lie back, take the other block and put it under your blanket, under your head on the flat setting. And take the other blanket and place it down the midline structure of the body. And then you apply the kitten to the Shavasana. Hi, honey. Yeah. So the block on the strap at your feet is to help kind of channel these rivers of energy in the body. to give the kitten a little bit of space there. Yep. And you can close your eyes. Take your gaze down and in. The strap means that your feet can't roll out, so you're actually offering some ease to your psoas muscle right now too. You just had a very cleansing practice, a lot with the twisting, so that's cleansing for digestion. You had compression and decompression, that's going to be cleansing for the lymph and the circulation. Don't let your mind wander now. Let it go deeply down to the root system. And let the activities of the physical body come to stillness. And the activities of the mind can also be at rest. And receive the nourishment of your practice. It's the way the mango tree soaks in the sun and the water, the nutrients of the soil. And keep your mind at rest in the roots of your practice. Allow your senses to stay inward. Eyes and ears, nose and tongue, not moving away from center. Allow your body to get heavier with the feeling of relaxation. The muscles limp with ease. Again, you may deeply relax the mind, the senses, the breath, and the body. Allow everything to be at ease, deeply heavy with stillness and relaxation. And keeping the stillness and ease of the body, just become aware of the breath that's breathing you. You don't need to make it any deeper nor more dynamic. And without busying the mind, please make a thoughtful transition from your Shavasana into a seat for meditation. If possible, you can sit cross-legged as you began class, so you'll be returning to a kind of imprint, but with a fresh experience of that. And rest your hands in your lap and let your eyes close. And try to sense now this dedication you've made is a dedication to the roots of your practice, also to the fruits of your practice. Those are ripening as you're here. Encourage your mind to be really still. Keep things simple. Meditation is when the fruit of the practice is ripening. And we don't rush that process, but we also remain with it. And remain steady. Your roots, your trunk, dedication, the ripening process. And remain steady, knowing that the ripening, the fruits of your practice, that process is underway. As we sit together now for one more minute, try to sense, without opening your eyes, just to sense that there's a community of which you are contributing your practice. Others are practicing with you. And you can have a felt sense of our connection and meditation. Remaining steady, keeping the mind centered. And practice getting a little body memory of being here. Please bring your hands together at your heart. And we're going to chant, and for those of you who know it, you can, of course, sing with me. As we come into the fruits of our practice, may we discern that which is real and true, sat, from that which is not real or untrue, asat. May we discern between ignorance, heaviness, darkness, tamas, and between light or luminosity, jyoti. May we know the finite, mrit, from the infinite, amrit. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Namaste. I came up where I can see you closer. Thank you for being here.